This is from Bellular, our friend of the channel, who has made the video WoW's player housing system, BLIZZ sniped FFXIV. Now, as a veteran of both games, this topic is very much in my wheelhouse, and I just posted my own video about it on my YouTube channel, Zepla's WoW Realm. So you should definitely check out that video if you get a chance, and check out that new channel. But for now, let's watch this video. Let me know if the volume is okay, if this is too loud or what. Okay. Let me know about the audio.
It's an exciting one because we're talking about the big picture.
Is that okay? Is that too loud? Because I can change it before we proceed. We know how WoW players keep realistic expectations when they are fed crumbs of info. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have never in my life had realistic expectations about anything. And this includes my real life. That's how I ended up in Florida. Volume is a bit low. It seems okay. All right, great. Okay, cool. Can I turn it up slightly? Florida bun. I could. All right.
Today it's an exciting one because we're talking about the big picture future of World of Warcraft. And that's because Blizzard just dropped a bit of a bombshell post about player housing and a bunch of other new features that will be coming to the game. And the good news is that player housing, it has one thing we expected, and in a lot of ways, it's actually better than we could have hoped. So, in this massive blueprint post, Blizzard revealed their plans for housing, and they took some real direct shots at Final Fantasy XIV in the process. Real direct. There's no nightmare lottery system. There's no brutal, please stay subscribed to our game or your house will be automatically demolished feature. And yes, that is a thing in the other game, and the FF people, they don't love that.
Hey! Not true. It's me. I'm FF people. We're overjoyed. Some of the FF people don't love that. But a lot of us are like ready to move in. I'll put it that way.
Everybody gets a house and they get to keep it. That's the way that it works, and it does actually
It's
feel
good
kind
for
of
players.
savage comparing the game. And this is not me embellishing and trying to like trump up a drama out of nowhere. No, Blizzard's post is directly engaging with and targeting the Final Fantasy community's gripes, which says to me that they want
That's me on the internet. That is me. So cool. I'm famous. I'm on TV. Bunnular. Bunnular. Oh my god. Okay, alright.
want to take some of the role-playing kind of like vibe and community and basically say,
Man, I looked so annoyed in that screenshot though, because I'm like
hello FF people, we're going to cater to the sorts of things that you like. But of course, that is a little bit apples to oranges. We gotta be fair to Final Fantasy. Its housing system is a relic of its age. It's fairly old. WoW has got a massive advantage. It gets to do it now with more modern technology, etc., etc., and looking at all of the landmines that all
WoW is 10 years older than Final Fantasy 14. It's an older game. FF 2.0 came out 10 years after World of Warcraft. So it's not like, hey, can we can we borrow some of that technology y'all got over there? We'll give it back after.
Of their compatriots stumbled onto. But there is actually more coming as well. So World of Warcraft's new player experience is going to see some fairly major improvements, and the game will be getting new social features. But first, come on, we gotta talk about the housing.
Yeah!
Okay, this actually starts with last week's data mining. It was really curious. It appeared in the Cataclysm classic PTR, but basically it all pointed towards stuff in a full 3D editor. And as it turns out, that was spot on. Blizzard are promising us a tool set that is, quote, powerful enough that players can surprise us, as in surprise Blizzard. They say that their first pillar with this is bound...
Wait, you already found the code for the 3D editor already? But this isn't coming out till fall or winter of this year, right? You already know that they made it? But why is it in the game now? Are they gonna let us put stuff in our apartments? In Undermined? Because I know we're getting apartments in Undermined. And is that too much hopium?
Self-expression, and on top of the editor, they plan for decorations from basically every part of World of Warcraft to be present.
Yeah, look, so cute picture. Wow. Can you imagine putting like your favorite weapons that you've collected on the wall? And will you be able to play instruments in your house? You have a violin? I have a harp already from the Night Fae. Wow, that's so nice. Good.
So that basically means your house may look...
Can I have a cat? Can I have pets? I can use... We already have pets. The pets could be in your house, sleeping in front of the fire. Yes!
Like anything from, I don't know, a museum to the downfall of Argus to an ethereal shop. Pretty much all that stuff. Just real cool. But there is a catch. So at launch, which of course we imagine will be the pre-patch of the Midnight expansion in January 2026, we're only going to be getting 2 zones. Alliance players will be getting classic humans in the Elven Forest with a few sprinkles of Westfall and Duskwood.
That looks really, really nice. This is just so beautiful. With a street, it really felt like Gridania though. Look up here. Look up that. On the top left. It's giving Gridania. Yes. Yes, you can put Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker up on your wall.
And the Horde are getting their equivalent of that, which is Durotar with a little dash of Ashara. And to say the obvious up front, I completely... Durotar.
That's the plots. Very, very reminiscent of plots we know of in our neighborhoods. I think I like the Alliance area better. But the Ashara part might be really nice to live in.
With a little dash of Ashara. And to say the obvious up front, I completely get how this will be really, really disappointing for some people.
What?
Especially if you want your, like, big night elf enchanted forest. But... at least it seems the reason why this is going to be limited is a good one. Blizzard said in their post that these zones take an absolute ton of work, so they basically want to get the first 2 right, and then they want to...
I think that's crazy to be upset that there's not a housing district that's catered to your specific whims and desires. Like, obviously, there can only be 2 housing districts at the start. One for Horde and one for Alliance. And I think that they chose the safest bets imaginable for those 2 places. Like, let just one be starting zone. Like, let them be, both of them, starting zone vibes. Elwyn Forest, Durotar, stuff people already feel really familiar with. As the first zones, I can't imagine one being more appropriate. I think it would have been really weird if they had picked, like, okay, one Night Elf zone and one... troll zone. Like, we need to appeal to as many people as possible.
Make other ones after that. I suppose I'd rather have 2 good ones where they learn lessons and then make the rest of them really good rather than just tick every box but do so in a way that ultimately ends up being a bit of a loss.
I also appreciated how blunt this post was. Like, they said, putting it bluntly, zones are a lot of work. So that's why we're only doing 2 at the start. This is the kind of language I rather have. Like, I remember there was a time with World of Warcraft when they would only use like legal PR speak. I'm glad to see that those days are done. Like, just say what you're trying to say.
Ultimately ends up being a bit of a loss. And we'll see kind of what they mean by doing those zones, right? And it also follows Blizzard's recent playbook, right? They launch a feature in a more minimal state, they gather feedback, then they improve. We've seen that across the likes of, say, Talents, Dragon Riding, all that. Now, Blizzard does say they will drop more later. Hopefully that's during midnight, and I certainly can't see us leaving midnight without at least some elf-themed zones for our houses.
Quilt Lost.
And also, do not worry about faction restrictions. This is...
Oh my god, what if? No, this is a bad idea. Or is it? Okay, what if with midnight, because it's like elves, blood elf zone, Quel'Tha Lost, and then the other one could be like high elf themed, which is, you know, high elves, they have a different aesthetic. You know, they have this silvery aesthetic. They were involved with Theramore, the coastal stuff, ships, that kind of thing, Silver Covenant. And other one being, yeah, they're blue and the other one red.
It's fairly interesting. Houses are going to be a warband-wide thing. So to set up a house in a horde zone, you are going to need a horde character, but then your alliance characters can actually live there with no restriction. And there's another reason why they're doing these limited zones.
It's going to be weird if, like, you have a house in Elwyn Forest, but you only ever see, like, all your neighbors are trolls, basically. Like, all the neighbors' houses were bought by people who would just rather be in the alliance zone, but they're really horde players. So it's like, doesn't really feel that alliance-y. It's like orcs, trolls, goblins. It's your whole neighborhood in Elwyn.
It's because these are not just...
It's like all undead. Yes.
Little personal, airlocked away...
I will say, though, I'm sorry, pausing him literally 1 second, but I think it's good. I'm really glad that they're doing it this way, because I don't want to feel like locked into the horde zone or the alliance zone. Like, I would rather just pick a house I really like and let all of my characters use it, really. Which is, I didn't think about this before. That's also a little bit of a shots fired at FF14 system. FF14 really wish that alts could use, like, you could just have them use the same house. You know, it all counts as being your house on your account. That would be pretty nice.
Instances where it's a bit like the garrisons and you're just sort of locked in there by yourself. Blizzard says they know what happened with garrisons isolating everybody. This time they want to do it different, and they want to do it in a way that can keep people together but not force everyone together. So houses are going to be part of
hard
what
balance
they're calling
strike.
neighborhoods. These are basically like wards.
It's wards in Final Fantasy. It's plots. It's neighborhoods. It's wards.
It's in Final Fantasy XIV, but honestly, at least on paper, they do seem better. Neighborhoods are instanced copies of the player housing zone with roughly 50 houses, but they're also persistent. So that means that if you set your house up in a public neighborhood, you'll be in that neighborhood until you move. So it's not just some gamey thing locked off in an instance. It's actually got that almost real-life-like sense of permanence where you'll actually have a chance to get to know your neighbors. Which does mean they could be complete shits, but they do have something planned for that. The good news is that if that is not your speed, you can have a private...
Whoa. I didn't see this. Social stands alongside our other initiatives, like expansions or housing, to provide solutions and features, like, for example, rewards for positive behavior, easier ways to connect with like-minded players, role-playing, and more. Is this from a different post? I think so.
If that is not your speed, you can have a private neighborhood. Yep, you can basically go for completely private thing. You can even set up a HOA with your guild and bully people. So friends and guilds will be able to set up a private instance, which basically just means you can have your own gated community with only people who you know, trust, and have good taste in decoration, which Blizzard says is all part of a pillar called Deeply Social.
I mean, yeah. It's in Final Fantasy XIV. You finally get your plot. You've won the lottery. And it's amazing. And then, like, let's say maybe you're in Ishgard or Kugane. You set up your house, you walk out the door, and what do you see? Chocobo house. You look to your left, it's a Paisa house. You look to your right, it's another Chocobo house. There's Chocobos everywhere. You're like, what? Nothing wrong with Chocobo. It's the pinnacle of decoration. Of course, Tranny thinks this. Isn't that Preach's house? Oh my god, I think so. Yeah. Yes, I think so. The dark side to player housing. The HOA. I bet there is gonna be some, like, messed up stuff going on with the private communities. Like, you know that people will come up with HOAs where, okay, you're allowed into our neighborhood if you have a certain Mythic Plus rating. Like, elitist neighborhood. And we will, like, you can't kick someone out of your neighborhood, can you? There's going to be so much drama. There's going to be so much drama. ERP community. Yes. Actually, ERP community might not be a bad idea because you could check people's ages first before they're allowed. You can actually have a safer environment for ERP. For people that are wanting to do that, okay, I'm just saying that some people do that, and they could ensure a safer environment for everybody by having a private neighborhood for it than just out in the open in Goldshire. Okay, have an age limit. Check people's ages first. Yeah. You can't kick people out. You have to leave and set up a new one. Yeah, I wonder about that. What if you have one person who's, like, creeping on people, going into people's houses that are unlocked and making videos? Do you want to kick that person out? Probably.
And to talk about game design pillars does sound like a load of bullshit, basically, but
Even Discord server boosters only.
no, pillars are actually a really, really core foundational thing in game design. It's the basic idea of you set up your pillars, and then whenever you've got a question, you don't really know what choice to make with a feature, you visit your pillars, and they help you work out what the right call is. So for Blizzard, that means they do not want to lock everyone away in their houses. They want to encourage people to interact and play with each other. And to that end, these are full multiplayer experiences. And I really like this. So you can just live in your friends or your guildie's house if you want. They're basically designing the system to encourage people to play together, be that hangout, role-playing, or just doing content together to unlock new stuff, even in a house that you share. Just fairly neat. But obviously, as people fleeing from Mythic Plus into Delves proves, a lot of people do just want solo, and the good news is you can enjoy housing purely on your own in your own private instance, and it can be exactly what you want it to be. Now, the last pillar is the best news of all. The big fear with so many WoW features is they come into the game and then they just kind of wither and die.
No.
Blizzard say that this is a long-lasting journey, that this is a feature that will have its own roadmap. They say it's not a thing that they can finish. It's not an expansion feature. It is something that they plan on supporting in patches and expansions to come.
I really appreciate this. This is something that we've seen time and again with the War Within, with them adding good stuff to the game that stays. So stuff that is improvements on the game itself, on the core of the game. Things that just make it better, like Delves. Great addition to the game, and presumably an evergreen feature for gearing up. It's a whole new itemization pathway. Instead of these things that just come and go and kind of make... If you do that too much, like with artifact power, and then the next thing, and the next thing, expansion after expansion, it just starts to all feel kind of meaningless. We need to have stuff that we can invest time into that will reflect our years of effort over time. That's one of the reasons people get so attached to their characters in this game, because they have, you know, in some cases, 5, 10, 20 years of effort put in that's reflected in that character. So more systems that let us do that and like sort of build a legacy for ourselves is a W, in my opinion. I'm gonna buy an entire neighborhood and put an orc head on a pike on every front yard. That's right. I'm bringing the war back to Warcraft. Y'all have a lot of good ideas today. Y'all are very creative. The orange parse cul-de-sac. You guys, you have tons of good ideas. BDSM housing. Yeah. It's good you're thinking already about what your furry only hoods. Yeah. True. Good suggestions, chat.
Which is fairly big, and it brings us on to not just the million-dollar question, I would say the multi-million-dollar question. This is a big, complicated feature. It's got a dedicated team of devs. How are they going to make this worth their while? Because the sub fee is still the sub fee. So up front, they have confirmed what's going on. There will be housing items in the cash shop. Now, they do temper this a little bit.
Literally, who is surprised by this news? Like, if you're surprised that Blizzard will put a couch on the cash shop, welcome to World of Warcraft. Clearly, like, you just got here, and I really... Now, what I wonder... Yeah, Infinity Fiasco's brought up a good point. Will they do what Elder Scrolls Online does? Will they ask me for $100 for a house? They better not. They better not. Okay, $100 for a house that has a built-in auction house. Do you think? Twitch drop couch! Yes! Twitch drop items. Sparkle in the streamer's eye. They will. Better not give them ideas. I wouldn't mind it as long as they're reasonably priced, but knowing Blizzard's track record, yes, the jury is out on this. I bet what they'll do is they'll test the water at first with like $2, $3, $5 is probably the minimum. $2 is not happening. $5 minimum. And everyone's like, okay, this is cool, this is cool. Then they'll slowly push it. $7. And then they'll slowly push it. Like 15. And then people start to grumble. You know, that's what they're gonna do.
So they said that the in-game rewards will be measured in the hundreds, and the shop will have a far smaller number. They basically say it's the same approach as the existing cash shop, and their real plan is for this to make money because it's, you know, a good feature. Here's the exact quote. Housing is designed to be primarily player first and not revenue first. I think they quite obviously understand that they retain their players more. That's the best way to have long-term revenue via just having spikes from store events.
Yes.
What they are, though, doing, I think, is making some huge bets on growing World of Warcraft for the future instead of just trying to manage decline and milk it, which is the opposite of dying game behavior. So I'm kind of assuming that Blizzard's numbers, taking into account that you've got Season of Discovery and everything, I think they're probably looking quite good for World of Warcraft. And this is exactly what the game should have got a decade ago. I won't
Nature
say anymore,
is
but
healing.
I've talked to some quite veteran people over the many different years, and my understanding of World of Warcraft, even in the days of Wrath of the Lich...
Wait a minute. Where have I seen this? Wait a minute. No.
Veteran people over the many different years, and my understanding of World of Warcraft...
No, it's not. No, it's... People smile.
Even in the days of Wrath
Just
of the Lich...
Nah. It's just a coincidence.
Lich King was basically that Blizzard always saw it as having an expiry date. And that's
It's not John Fantasy. It just reminded me of something I'd seen before. It's just, we don't need to put too much meaning on Small.
one of the reasons why they did not as having an expiry date. And that's one of the reasons why they did not put serious engineering work into building the kinds of features that would actually grow World of Warcraft again after it had already peaked. Basically, a little bit of a managed decline as you'd sort of get in, in a cash cow product. Now, though, it's not a cash cow. It's basically the pillar of Blizzard. If World of Warcraft goes down, they're kind of which is good for us. And at the very least so far, I don't have any major criticisms of their blueprint. It does look fairly good, but obviously they've got to walk the walk. That will be the real proof of things. And if you want a major...
The proof is in the pudding way, and I think a lot of people are reasonably cautious about it and not jumping for joy quite yet like I am. But I will also say that if Blizzard can deliver even a half-decent product, it's going to be amazing. Okay. It's gonna be amazing that I will have a house that won't get taken away from me because I unsub for less than 2 months.
Reveal of this, if you kind of want to really see how it exactly works,
like, it doesn't have to be perfect.
In August of this year. But the good news is there's actually some
might move to WoW. When will we see the rest of the science?
Cat girls in WoW win.
Other stuff to talk about.
Bunny girls
is basically just the main course. Holly's blog post had teasers for the War Within and for future expansions. One of them is a new player experience update, which suffice to say is something that World of Warcraft bloody well needs. No more details were given away, but she just mentioned that it could be better, which again...
What? I didn't see this. More accessible. Okay, we want to make WoW more approachable for anyone who wants to join the adventures we have available to them. And introducing the new player experience with Exile's Reach, we want to create an easy way for new players to begin their first journeys in Azeroth, or bring returning players in a way that would help them get up to speed. We know the experience can be better, and are working toward new improvements in the future to streamline the experience in the near term and expand upon what it can be in the future. Hey, do we have any buns in the chat right now that have done Exile's Reach recently? And do you have any thoughts on it? Do you have any feedback on it? How did you feel about Exile's Reach? Because I've talked to several people that have just gone through... We have a lot of new players. I've talked to several people who just got through Exile's Reach in the past couple days. And a lot of people do not understand that the final dungeon lets you have AI bots in it. A lot of people I've talked to are like, oh, it looks like I got to the dungeon, so I'll just do this later because I don't have a group. Almost every time people think this, and I'm like, no, you can go in, it will send AI with you. Why would you assume that? It's not very clear. So some stuff is dumb, like you can't customize the UI until you finish it. Yeah, that's an issue. I think it's fine, but I've played WoW for almost 20 years. Yeah, you really need... I wonder from people who are not familiar with WoW at all. Because a lot of it is teaching you what an MMO is. Teaches you basic stuff like, here's how you pick up a quest item. And here's, like, how you turn in loot for your quest. Like, get loot for basic things. I didn't like that I couldn't open my UI. I think that is a huge issue. Exile's Reach was awful. Why was it awful? What was awful about it for you? I'm interested. Because feedback like that, I can put into video. And then, if they're working on it, they probably need to hear it sooner rather than later. Yeah. I think they should have a storyline quest that takes new players questing through different zones of each expansion to actually get people into the story. Yes. Because the lore is great, but it is overwhelming when you are starting and you don't know where to start, and the timeline is all over the place with the different expansions, and it can feel like, is this going to be out of whack? Like, which one should I start with? Who are these people? What is going on? Yeah. Okay. Reach is one size fits all when WoW is about so much more. Can you be more specific?
Is an understatement, and that they're working on it. Apparently in Midnight and The Last Titan, we will see the first steps in what she calls a long-term journey on that player experience. The Last Titan is going to be the end of World of Warcraft's current story, and for a lot of people, it's obviously going to be the ideal time to log out for the last time.
What? Like with Endwalker? They gotta not repeat Endwalker mistake. They gotta give people a really good hook into the next thing, like, immediately. Okay, you can wrap up your little arc, but as you're wrapping up that little arc, you need to introduce new mysteries at the same time, so people don't feel like, well, that was excellent. I am completely satisfied. There is nothing else for me to discover. There are no more things that are really concerning. It looks like we solved every problem in the universe and everything's fine now. So thank you for the fun, and have a good day. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye. Like, don't do this. You got it. You know, unless you're planning WoW too. And then, you know.
Little bit like how Endwalker was
Don't
a
do
natural
that.
end to...
Oh, that's what I just said! What I just said. Hey!
things for so many FF players.
It's
so
like
for
pre-watched.
Blizzard, actually getting new blood in with that expansion will be a literally life or death problem for the game, which is why it's a good thing they're preparing. Holly also mentioned that they've got more UI and UX updates coming to the game soon. There wasn't really a massive amount of details, but take edit mode. That's not seen updates in a while, so hopefully they've been cooking
I love
things
edit
in the
mode.
background. Patch 11.1.
Edit mode is so good, and the raid style player frames are so good. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with grid anymore, like setting up all this tiny little icons like I used to have to do. You don't have to worry about it. It's all default now. Thank God.
Mode, that's not seen updates in a while, so hopefully they've been cooking in things in the background. Patch 11.1 does actually have some minor but very welcome improvements, like the events tab that's there in your world map, and it kind of brings in this nice tabbed UI that they could put more features on.
Events tab on your world map. Oh, so you don't have to use the weak aura to let you know where the events are. That's good.
So it's pretty.
But World Soul Memories sucks. I don't like doing that. Man, I avoid that. I think it's really boring.
Pretty nice. Okay, Holly's final update then is on the topic of community. And it's certainly good to see because World of Warcraft social features are way behind some other games. I mean, there's the friend system. Remember that? It's 20 years old. There's the guild system that's got almost no useful features. The whole, like, battle.net community thing. Just all of that stuff that basically nobody uses, but just is in the game. It's not really fit for how people play. So here's what Holly said. They have a plan for that. And to execute that...
Okay, we're looking at improvements to how we connect in-game friends, group finder, and better integration to common external social platforms that we know the community uses regularly. Okay. The team is working on social projects now that we hope to be able to share more about over the next year. So Discord? More Discord integration?
Plan, they've started a dedicated social initiative to update features like the friends list, the group finder, and to have hooks into external social platforms.
What kind of stuff could they add to Discord that would be useful? Or is this like, you know, I can take a screenshot and then post it directly to Instagram?
That is kind of funny. I definitely think of the kind of infamous Twitter patch with a selfie cam of Warlords of Draenor, patch 6.1, but I don't imagine that. I mean, you'll probably get, like, X, you know, webhooks, blue sky, that kind of thing, but more than likely, I would say...
Please don't. No X. Don't do that. Just not that. Blue sky, Instagram, threads... Don't make me use X. Stop. We're trying, I think the writing's on the wall, and you know that. Yeah.
Some sort of proper modern Discord hookup.
Yes.
If Blizzard was to make this work with Discord events, that would also be fairly massive
Discord
as well.
events.
And to finish in the social feature, something truly shocking happened. A Blizzard exec properly acknowledged role players. So
I just don't understand how, like, what that would look like. What kind of an integration could we get with Discord that would be good to have? Because I've never seen anything like that. That would be like, do you have any ideas? I think having Discord chats directly available in WoW groups and raids would be great. Yeah, we're currently using Discord. Of course, we have our guild chat, but we also have channels in our Discord server that we use as additional guild chats that people can use anytime when they're not logged into the game itself. People will post there too. So we use Discord also as a guild server. It's very easy to lose messages in the default Blizzard chats as well, because you have so much crap in your chat. You have, like, if you don't go in there and manually separate it out by making new chat channels, putting your loot, your reputation, and all that crap in another channel, it's going to be very difficult to keep up with messages people are trying to write there, because it's just constantly scrolling. It's hard to manage. Discord for M plus LFG or raid signups. We use a bot for this already. And it's really helpful, but he said, I started playing when The War Within launched, and so far I love the game. I really liked that the game offers a lot of recap in the first hour of the expansion. My only problem with the game is that I went from Island 1 tutorial to Island 2 Dragonflight, and then to Island 3 Kazalgar. I really have no connection to the actual world itself yet, which I hope changes in the future. That's actually a really good point. Wow. Champar, that's a really good point and an interesting perspective. That, yeah, you really have been hauled from one island to the next one. Wait till you get to Siren Isle to get your ring. Yes. Okay, let me... Actually saved your comment. I hope you don't mind. Calendar. Yeah, show our calendar in the Discord would be really cool. That's a good idea. I like that. Are you getting sick or is it allergies? I have no idea. I'm definitely got sniffles. Serious sniffles today.
There's an implication that role players will get some sort of official support from this, like, new social team. Absolutely took them long enough. That is something that Final Fantasy is able to do really, really well with. And basically, I mean, if I think about housing neighborhoods, if those neighborhoods get built by a dedicated group of people for a purpose, that could be pretty massive for role.
Okay, I know we like to joke about ERP, right? But the neighborhood has a potential to offer a really amazing roleplay experience. Okay? If you could get a private neighborhood made that's like got a town hall, that's got like different little shops, it's got like a bakery, it's got a school, it's got all those kind of things, like a cafe. It feels like a real village. This is something that might soon be possible. And it would be amazing to just wander around in it. You go into a bakery and there's people role-playing like they are baking bread and they have stuff for you. You know, that would be so fun. Even if you're not a role player, it'd be really cool to just wander around and experience that. Yes. I think it would feel really, because people do kind of do this to an extent already with wards that we have in Final Fantasy XIV, but to be able to have a private neighborhood where you can really build out that full experience with a team of role players would be so cool. It would be so cool. You could even have, like, imagine a Night Elf roleplay guild that's got, like, night elf housing exteriors, and the whole place is just like this night elf city. Yeah, I think it would be really neat. It would be really neat.
People.
He's never change Twitch chat. You're like a strip club, a bar, a jail. Never changed.
For a purpose. That could be pretty massive for role
Classic.
playing, so those features could work together quite well. Basically, then, what we see, I'd say, is Blizzard firing on all cylinders. They've clearly put a lot of money into this. Obviously, what matters is execution and delivery, which has not happened yet. What we do have next, though, is patch 11.1. That's almost certainly going to be launching in this month, February, and we've actually seen that patch 11.1.5 has just hit the PTR. It's currently encrypted, but the patch is called Nightfall, and there is just that, was it Old God Whisper? Something Whisper, anyway, when, you know, the fall of night will reveal her true face, or something like that, which definitely makes me think Nightfall will be quite the lore reveal. That's exciting.
You can't just stick something like that at the end of the video. The fall of night will reveal her true face. What are you talking about?
To you, hold off for tomorrow's video, but if you want to check out something next, man, the marksmanship
What does
Hunter
that
revamp
mean?
is absolutely peak, and you can see our dedicated deep dive video on that.
What the? This was such a chill video about housing, and then at the end you put this like cosmic horror shit that I don't even know about. But it was a great video. I really enjoyed it, as always. I'll give you a link to this video from our friend BELLULAR, a video that I was in fact. Yes, I was. Yes, that was pretty cool. Did not expect to see myself get up, but I was not. That was pretty cool. I got my own cameo. Bonnular. Nice.